Police in Kumasi have arrested 2 people suspected to be fake currency dealers. Now, they were arrested in possession of more than 800,000 Ghana cedis in fake currency and other items believed to be used in their operations. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin has more.
The suspects were arrested at Dichemsu. Upon a tip of police went to the scene, a hotel located at Dichemsu, and they met one of them, Salifu, who attempted to run away. By then, according to the police, he had already dispatched some of the money into the hotel, and they suspect that he was going back to bring more of the money. And so he was seized and was arrested. And they went to the receptionist, where she also, pointed out that his accomplice, Mama, was also among him, or he even came to check in for the hotel, and so he was also arrested. And 3 others were also arrested, that is the receptionist and 2 other galamseyers, and they told the police that Salifu and Mama actually were going to provide them with some kind of charms so that they will be able to get more gold in their businesses. So the police arrested the 5, and later granted bail to the 3, the receptionist and the 2 others, who are, now the witnesses according to the police. But the 2 are now in police custody, and they will be arraigned before court according to the police.
So in all, 5 of them. And when they got the receptionist arrested, he said that no, this man was also hovering around the accomplice. And so the receptionist pointed to him that he came and booked the hotel room for the 2 of them, and she didn't know of the contents of the bags. But the 5 of them were picked to the police station at Tafo Pankrono, and the 2 men who were arrested together with them confided that they come from Bole, they were galamseyers, and that these 2 men were able to lure them to the hotel to come for juju, so that they will prosper in the way that they are doing. When they go for prospecting for gold, they will get more gold. They rendered statement to the police, witness statement. Then the receptionist also gave account as to how he came by them, and their statements were also taken and were granted bail. So now we have them as witnesses, together with some of those who helped arrest them. Not only that, 2 other men also claimed that 3 days ago they met, that was a Monday, they met these 2 arrested suspects. They are 38 each, 38. They met them at Swami Roundabout, and they talked to them that they were able to give them juju.
The youth of Aflao are enraged over what they say is the suffocation of the operations of Diamond Cement, a local cement manufacturer, following the influx of Nigeria's Dangote Cement into the Ketu South municipality. Now, according to the spokesperson of the group, the influx of finished cement products from Nigeria is killing the local industry, as the imported products are sold at lower prices. He said they fear youth in the area would soon lose their jobs as a result of the situation. Ivy Setoji has more.
The youth of Aflao are saying that they are against the importation of cement, finished products that is from Nigeria to the country. So they are asking government to either stop them or make them establish the company or the factory here, so that the youth in Aflao or the Ketu South municipality can get work to do. So that is what is happening. According to them, they are selling this product at a cheaper price, thereby making Diamond Cement to lay off workers because they cannot get jobs to do again. I have the spokesperson for the group and one of the youth leaders with me here who can also talk to us about what is happening. So Mengistu, can you tell us, John, about this demonstration going on today?
We are very grateful. In a nutshell, we are just saying that Dangote will come and establish the factory in Ghana. Looking at the benefits that we are enjoying from GASM, Diamond Cement, Western Diamond, and other cement factories in the country right now, the state is getting its revenue hugely from the Diamond Cement, GASM, and all of that. And they are also contributing their corporate social responsibility. And in which Dangote is not trying to bring all those on board. What we learned earlier is that Dangote signed an agreement with the Ghana government to be bringing bulk of cement and parcel or package in Tema. And they also said they'll be building a grinding plant in Takoradi in 2016. But what we hear now is that Dangote announced to its shareholders that they have a market in Ghana in which they ordered 2,000 trucks that will be conveying finished product from Nigeria into this country. Which means Dangote is not having any impression of 20 jobs of Ghanaians.
So what you are trying to say is you want the factory to be established in Ghana. Are you sure you are not trying to advocate or PR for Diamond Cement?
No. We are seeing at the employment level of our youth. We want the unemployment rate in this country to reduce drastically. As I'm talking to you now, Diamond Cement have directly employed over 600 people and indirectly give employment to over 3,000 people. So if Dangote can also come and give employment to over 10 people, then the rate of unemployment is reducing. In this case, Dangote will come and Diamond Cement in this country and collapse GASM and Diamond Cement. And now he will increase the employment rate in Nigeria by employing more people to meet the demand of Ghanaians.
Away from that, let's do some politics. And the Central Regional Branch of the National Democratic Congress has initiated moves aimed at healing aspirants who lost in the just-ended primaries. Some of these defeated aspirants threatened to head to court, while others threatened not to support the winning candidates. Richard Kojunyakon joins us with more on this. So, Richard, tell us much more about how the party plans on doing this. Wow. But before we speak to Richard, let's bring you a playback of this.
Meeting called at the instance of the regional executives of the party brought together losers and winners in last weekend's primaries. In the various constituencies, news conferences were organized by some aspirants who lost. These aspirants alleged that their supporters were not allowed to vote because their names were not found in the register used for the elections. Speaking at the reconciliation meeting, regional chairman of the party, Ben Alote Jacobs, urged losing aspirants to accept defeat and rally behind the winning candidate to ensure victory for the NDC party in the 2016 elections.
This is the time for them to enjoy. In reality, we will not compromise people who have sacrificed their lives, their fortunes, their marriage to the cause of the NDC. You will be rewarded. Be assured that in the course of this campaign, you people will be smiling, including the candidates that are to go to parliament. Until you must say, Ebinum say scatter and laugh, Ebinum say independent, constituency executive member also about independent. Nala contest na one copy also about independent. Winning candidates. The power of the people have been invested in you to lead them as their parliamentary candidates. So are you able to work na ako who opponent ni fie na HCM na assured.
Incumbent Member of Parliament for Aguna East and Deputy Central Regional Minister Queen Tapokia Sawyer, who was victorious in the primaries, dedicated her victory to women and urged them to rise above intimidation and conquer the odds in politics.
Now, 4 workers at the NPP office at Asalam down here in Accra are currently being investigated after statements from some 11 persons arrested in connection with the raid at the party's office on Monday suggested they were in possession of arms on the day. The 4 include 2 members of the party's private security firm, the Invincible Forces, as well as a cleaner and 1 other staff. Kwacha Frenyama has been telling me more about the investigations.
Information I've gathered from leadership of the New Patriotic Party is that, and I spoke a while ago to Deputy Communications Director of the MPP, Perry Okujeto. He tells me that yesterday around 4 p.m., and this was just a few hours after these 11 suspects were bailed, were granted bail by the Accra Circuit Court. 4 members of the MPP, who are also staff at the party's Asylum Now headquarters, were invited to the CID headquarters, and they are being investigated for illegal possession of arms. As you rightly know, according to the narrative and the account that indeed the 11 suspects gave to the police, they say that when they went to the party headquarters, the Invisible Forces, the party's private security, had some weapons, and then they said that they additionally took some weapons from the car park area behind the generator there, plus some ammunitions and all that. So the police is investigating whether or not this was indeed, in the possession of these 4 people, and whether they know anything about it. And I understand they were asked to put down their statements. Some party officials, notably the national organizer of the party, they were all there yesterday. The Nasara coordinator and Kamaldeen was there as well to look into this. But these 4 men, I understand, 2 members of the Invisible Forces and some other staff who I understand including a cleaner at the party headquarters. Closely related to what happened at the party's office, the raid that we know now from details that was revealed in court cost the party some 28,000 Ghana cedis in terms of the damage. Yeah. The MPP says that they are organizing what they call, when they have the hashtag on social media, Facebook and Twitter particularly, Red Friday, to demonstrate their dissatisfaction with what happened there on the day. The party has already said that their own investigation has revealed that you had some military persons on the ground, some police and military vehicles as well that were parked in front of the party's headquarters, per eyewitness account as well. So they feel strongly that certainly these institutions must stand.
We're taking a break on News Today here on Joy News More TV. We'll return shortly with some more. Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. Now, minority members in Parliament are being urged to consider the relevance of their stay in the House to their constituents, rather than engage in acts that do not seek to benefit Ghanaians. Speaking on the back of comments from a former Deputy Majority Chief Whip in Parliament, Samson Nahi, accusing the minority MPs of sabotaging the President, following his recent comments describing them as sleeping on the job, the Executive Director of the Institute of Governance and Security, David Agbe, says the minority MPs need to show a lot more professionalism and rise above emotions. He spoke earlier on News Desk.
That they need to discipline their mind. They really need to discipline their mind.
In other words, they need to take us seriously.
Exactly. Because their functions are stipulated in the Constitution. And so if they understand the Constitution and if they know their functions and their responsibilities, they wouldn't be behaving the way they behaved yesterday at all.
So if indeed they are not sleeping on the job, they wouldn't be doing this.
Oh, of course, if government has presented a budget to Parliament and you are the true representatives of the people, you need to point holes in the budget or say that, yes, the budget is not good or it's bad or it's good. It is a reflection of what we have. And so they need to scrutinize through the budget and come to inform us what amount has been allocated for various constituencies that they are representing.
Right.
And so if you do not have the time to go through the budget and find out whether certain amount has been located for your various constituencies, then you don't wish your constituency the best.
Okay.
And so they do not have any excuse, although they could be emotional about the statement that the president made, that they don't have any other choice rather than to represent their own people in Parliament, and that is why they voted for them. So they shouldn't gloss over their job at all. They should ensure that they respect the people of Ghana, especially the people who voted them to become parliamentarians. And so, I mean, it wasn't the president who voted for them. It is their various constituencies.
Okay.
And so they have to be accountable to their various constituencies.
Let's take you live now to Parliament and get to find out what exactly is happening on the grounds. My colleague Elton Brobe is joining us live now from Parliament with the very latest on the grounds now.
In order to see how the inflation can be stabilized, in order to reduce it and stabilize it for the benefit of all Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, we also talk about the gross foreign assets of Ghana. The estimate or the target for the year 2015 is that the gross domestic product, the gross foreign asset should not be less than 3 months of import cover. As of September 2015, we have a gross foreign asset of 2.8 months of import cover. However, the projection up to the end of the year is that government will have gross foreign asset of nearly 4.0 months of import cover. This is an achievement that we have to encourage government to ensure that we have more of this. Mr. Speaker, again, the GDP (6.5%), no, 7.3%. But, Mr. Speaker, by the end of the year, the government will not be able to achieve that growth. Mr. Speaker, I want to turn my attention to the performance from the revenue sector. The revenue for the 9 months was 22.7 billion Ghana cedis, which is equal to 17.0% of GDP, against a target of 16.3% of GDP. Here you see clearly that revenue is performing more than the target for the year, which is encouraging, and one has contributed to the performance of the revenue collection or generation. Areas that have been identified by the minister in the budget are that it is as a result of the ongoing tax administration reforms that the government is undertaking, and also the new tax measures that the government has introduced in the form of 2.5% increase in VAT, a specialized petroleum tax, and efficiency in tax administration. These are some of the factors that resulted in the performance of the revenue sector, and which is performing above target. And if you compare this performance with 2014, by September 2014, the outturn was 28.2% over 2014 figure. Mr. Speaker, I want to encourage the Minister of Finance and the staff of GRE to ensure that they continue with the effort and the measure that they have put in place that resulted into performance of the revenue sector, which, if continued, will ensure that the target for 2016 will be achieved and beyond. Mr. Speaker, the revenue performance will therefore be 5.4% higher than the projected figure for the year, while it was 78.2% above 2014, with 5.4%.
So that was a live feed from Parliament, and as you could see and hear there, the debate on the 2016 budgets has actually begun. We'll bring you much more on that in touch base with our correspondent who is live there as well. But away from that, about 50 agitated workers of veterinary paraprofessionals in the Eastern region this morning embarked on a demonstration over their working conditions. Now, the workers have given government and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission a 2-week ultimatum to rectify the situation or risk having them lay down their tools. Haruna Yusuf Company has more.
I can tell you that this particular para-professional workers of veterinary service are saying that government has neglected them for quite too long. So it is about time government should listen to their concerns and address it. The staff of that para-professional, for instance, continue to wear red bands until government listens to them. They said they are wearing the band this week. Throughout this week, they will wear the red band. Next week, they will continue the red band. If government still did not listen to their concerns and address it, then they will lay down their tools. And it means that they will not go into work again. People, they will not go to people's services again because they are supposed to go and check meat from the abattoirs. And now they wake up around 2, 3, 4 o'clock thereabout and go to abattoirs to check the meat before the meat are brought and people will go and buy. So if they lay down their tools, they believe that any situation, any meat that is coming into the country through our borders, for instance, will not be checked. It will come and people will consume. So when people fall sick, government, everybody, no one should blame them because they have asked government, they have sat for quite a long time, asked government to address this situation, and government refused to listen. So this is the concern that they are putting across, and government must listen.
A deputy local government minister, Atani Delali, says government will in the next few days fire non-performing district chief executives. Now, commenting on the possible decision of government following the release of the latest district league table, Mr. Delali indicated prior to the release of the table, government had been conducting its own assessment on the performance of the district chief executives. Now, he hints that while some of the district chief executives will be reshuffled, others will be sacked. He spoke to my colleague Mamavio Usoboaje earlier on the AM show.
Would we see, because of the outcome of the table, would we see DCs, MCs fired?
Well, that the table will not be the main basis for any DCE to go. There has been an evaluation and assessment of DCEs over the period, and government is taking steps. I'm very optimistic that within a few days there will be some effective reshuffling, or possibly,
what does it mean?
Or possibly of DCEs, and there have been places where we've had the DCE's term of office has expired, and we're going to replace them. There are other places where we have vacancies due to death or illness, and we'll be filling those vacancies. There are places where outrightly the DCEs have not performed, and those people will be replaced.
And that's not based on the outcome of the table?
This could also be a factor, because you see, Mavi, the truth must be told. If you were a DCE and you were doing so well, and all of a sudden you've slumped, we have to sit down and find out why you've slumped. Whilst others are moving up, you have slumped.
Are you going to give them the opportunity to explain themselves before you fire them?
Well, I'm saying this is not going to be the basis for firing them. We are not just going to fire a DC because of the DLT. But as I told them, they could fire themselves because their constituents and their stakeholders will ask questions. Why are we last? Why are we 200? Why are we not in the first 20? They will ask questions, and then they will ask questions. So that look, the resources that came to you over the year, what did you do with it? How did Assembly manage the resources? People will ask questions, and it helps all of us in our social accountability.
Let's go live now to Parliament and touch base with our correspondent on the ground. And as you're well aware, the debate on the 2016 budget has started. Parliamentary correspondent Elton Brobe is standing by with more.
Budget presented by the Finance Minister on 13th November 2015. Now, before this hurdle was crossed, the House had to adjourn for 10 minutes to allow the Speaker meet with the leadership of the House to resolve concerns raised by the minority on some discrepancies they identified in the budget statement presented to the House. Now, what happened was that the House has 3 documents. In these 3 documents before them, one is the official parliamentary report, which captures the budget presentation that was announced by the Finance Minister on the 13th of November. There is also a printout that was given to members of Parliament after the presentation in November. And the 3rd document was given to them yesterday, asking them to replace that with the printout that was given to members of Parliament after the former presentation. Now, in all of these documents, the figures doesn't tally, and there are discrepancies that the minority have identified, and they wanted the Speaker to rule on this particular matter and adjourn for the debate to start tomorrow. But after the 10 minutes break, the Speaker reconvene the House, and both the minority and the majority leadership, they have agreed to allow the debate to go on. Indeed, if you look at the three documents, you will find figures that are not consistent with each other, and that was the basis for the minority's earlier boycott of the debate. But right now, from the main chamber of parliament, the debate is ongoing. James Klucha is seconding the motion that was moved by the finance minister on the 13th of November. When he is done, Dr. Mark Asibeyowa, the member of parliament for New Jersey South on the minority side, will be the first person to open or to speak against or in favor of the budget, will put forth the minority's own assessment of the 2016 budget that was put before Parliament on the 13th of November 2016. So now the chairman of the Finance Committee is making reasons why the House should approve of this budget. Now what is key is that Parliament has been given just 6 days for them to consider the 2016 budget. Once the debate is done, they will move into the committees, where the various committees here in Parliament will consider the estimates presented by the finance minister, and then one after the other they will have to come to the floor and present their report and call on the plenary of Parliament to approve or adopt their report. And after that adoption, the ministries will then have the opportunity to spend the monies after the appropriation bill is passed, before the House goes on a Christmas recess. So that is the program from now till when the House rises, I'm told, will be on the 19th of December. But the expectation is that they will approve of the budget and pass the appropriations, so the government will have the legal mandate to spend on January 1, 2016.
Elton Brobe joining us live from Parliament there. We're taking a break on news today. We'll return shortly with some more news. Don't go away. And in business today, expect a wholesale price of some locally produced items to be relatively lower, at least before the end of the year. Now, this follows a reduction in producer price inflation in the month of October.
The producer price index reduced to 2.8% in October. It represents a reduction of 2 percentage points compared to the 4.8% recorded in September. The manufacturing subsector, which constitutes more than 2/3 of total industry, decreased by 3.2 percentage points to record 1%. This is projected to lead to some relative stability in the ex-factory prices of some locally produced goods.
If you take the manufacturing sector, there has been a consistent decline, right down to 1.0% in October 2015. So that is the sector that is pulling, and the subsector that is pulling it down is the petroleum industry. That is the manufacture of coke and petroleum products. That is what is pulling it down, because that has declined again from minus 27.9% to minus 34.5%. So that is what is pulling the entire sector down. But then, if you take the utilities, there was no change. In fact, there was rather even a decline. September we had 7.2%, but this went down to 5.3% in October 2015.
The producer price inflation in the mining and quarrying subsector increased by 3.7%. The utility subsector also recorded an inflation rate of 5.3%, representing a decrease of 1.9 percentage points over that of September.
Stakeholders at the just-ended Africa Oil Governance Summit have impressed on governments the need to stop granting tax concessions in oil and gas exploration contracts. Now, this is part of recommendations by the participants contained in a 17-point communique agreed on at the two-day summit, which ended yesterday.
After the two-day Oil Governance Summit, the team is calling on government to develop comprehensive resource revenue management frameworks. On contracts, it says government should build a transparent regime for licensing of oil concessions. Government, it adds, should adopt open and competitive bidding processes, mandatory disclosure of contracts, disclosure of beneficial ownership information, and provision of anti-corruption clauses that penalize companies and public officials involved. in corrupting, facilitating, and acquisition of licenses. Mohammed Amin Adam is Executive Director of ASEP.
And this is why we have been, recommending that we adopt an open and competitive bidding process. The reason we have this is because we have a single, window bidding, what we call open door policy, or what we call administrative policy, where one company is negotiated with without opening it to other companies to compete. And so the new petroleum bill is now, given that consideration to allow for an open and competitive bidding for oil blocks. And so some of the big companies, another reason they are not able to come is this. They are regulated on the stock markets. And there are also countries that have laws criminalizing bribery of foreign public officers. The U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act is one. The UK Anti-Bribery Act is another. And so companies, big companies coming from this jurisdiction, will not bribe a politician before getting an oil block.
Recommendations to civil society is to increase dialogue between government and civil society and non-state actors to build consensus on the key issues affecting oil and gas development.
But that'll be it for business here on News Today. We'll bring you sports with George Ado right after this. Okay, so George Ado Jr. just joins me now in studio with some sports. Hi, George.
Hi, Chen, we'll have to talk about Accra Hearts-Folk. They're just on the horizon right now. We'll have to talk about how the club are getting themselves into it, and more importantly, the support that is coming in for Kenichi Yatuhashi, who is the coach of Hearts-Folk.
Oh, the Japanese.
You heard that one. When they were saying Hearts-Folk guys, when they score now,
what's the name again?
Kenichi Yatuhashi.
Yatuhashi.
Okay, so that when they score the goals, there will be the new Japanese style of celebration. Let's do some sports now, shall we? And Hearts-Folk board chairman Togbe Afede, the 14th, has given his full backing to new coach Kenichi Yatuhashi to succeed at the club. Now, the Japanese-American trainer was appointed substantive coach for the Phobians after signing a 2-year deal early this year. Now, his appointment has been mocked by several Hearts-Folk fans, but board chairman Togbe Afede says, he actually believes in this man and he has more confidence that the new coach will perform beyond his expectations.
Appointed Kenny as our coach. There was so much hula baloo, very, very un-Ghanaian, when people had to even question his nationality. Meanwhile, we've had nationals of other countries before, leading our technical team. But let me say that many applied for the vacant post of coach of Hearts-Folk. Shows how popular we are. People apply from far and near. We didn't know how they even got to know that Hearts needed a coach. But among all those who applied, Kenny was the only person who gave the committee what the committee was looking for in terms of ideas about philosophy of play, ideas about youth development, and etc. Things that we've craved.
Right, the Hearts-Folk board chairman also noted that the conduct of supporters and the media has made it difficult for the club to attract potential sponsors. Strategic African Securities remain the only sponsor of the club in the last 5 years, and Togbe Afede, the 14th, believes that can only improve if the stakeholders create a good atmosphere around the club.
Your board is making every effort to make sure we have sponsorship. But I would like to plead with all of you on behalf of the board to allow peace to prevail so that our efforts can bear fruits for the benefit of all of us. Have you ever wondered why we did so well in Africa, but fared so badly in our own country? All the victories that we chalked out of this country, defying all the odds. Have you wondered why that contrasted so sharply with our performance locally? Without going into any details, I'll just plead with you guys to spread the word, the need for us to all work together in peace so we can move this club forward. Before you pronounce this board as failures, allow them to do what they want to do. But if you don't allow them to do what they want to do, then it's like you don't want this board to succeed. So you can turn around and say they have failed.
Right, let's stay with Accra Hartsville. And board member Frank Nelson is backing Togbe Afede to succeed in the coming season, but insists his outburst is not a sign of desperation.
His company SAS, who owns about 69 to 70%, that they might not invest or buy more shares. So it's leaving it for other people who love Accra to come and buy. And if you can buy, to neutralize this share, it is okay. He doesn't take it in a bad faith. He believes that it's the same club, that what he's trying to do is that at the end of the day, the club will be in a very safe hand and everybody will be happy. It's not a threat for me, in my understanding. It's not a threat. It's just a situation that he's trying to express himself, that he's not trying to monopolize situation, that he's open for everybody who wants to get into the club to come in.
Okay, so let's do some entertainment now, and Miss G joins me with, well, Miss G, I know there's been a lot of talk about Uncle Ibo White and this new play.
Sure.
I haven't seen, have you seen it?
I am yet to see it, but lots of people from the media fraternity, government officials, and sponsors, of course, Airtel, were there yesterday to see the play. It's titled Puppeteers. And actually, I hear it talks about a judge who had to move to a new locality to chase after his ex-wife who he had issues with, but he had to condone with a certain group of people who call themselves PTA.
Whoa.
Guess what is that?
No, I'm not good with guesses.
Pickpocketing and Thieves Association. We'll bring you more.
Puppeteers is the last quarter play from Roverman Production. It is a satire which highlights deviant behaviors in our communities and how to get rid of them. A select audience were treated to an exclusive showing of the play, which formally opens to the public this weekend. Ibo tells us what he hopes to achieve with his new play.
Just calling attention, there are puppeteers in our society. Don't become their victim. We do this because we think Ghana deserves better. We think you and I live in a blessed nation, and yet we don't feel the blessings, we don't see the blessings because we're not getting a few things right.
Some patrons who spoke to us couldn't hide their excitement.
It's really interesting. I've learned a lot from it.
I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad. I'll be coming next time.
I couldn't have imagined that somebody could write a script like this. I'm overwhelmed by the events today.
Puppeteers runs at the National Theatre in Accra on November 28 and 29, December 4 and 5.
And that's how we wrap up news today here on Joy News Multi TV. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Kwabna Chenchehini Boating. Enjoy the rest of our broadcast.